Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Before we begin this incredible and emotional story, make sure to subscribe to our channel, turn on notifications, and never miss another heartwarming story. Now, let's begin. Sarah Thompson had always believed that some secrets were meant to stay buried forever. For 7 years, she had successfully kept hers hidden. Every morning, Sarah woke up before sunrise. She prepared breakfast, packed school lunches, braided 2 identical heads of chestnut-colored hair, and drove her twin daughters, Emma and Lily, to school. Life wasn't perfect, but it was peaceful. And peace was something Sarah had fought hard to protect. "Mom, where's my blue backpack?" Emma shouted from upstairs. "No, Mom." "Emma took my backpack again," Lily yelled. Sarah smiled. "Girls, calm down. Your backpacks are right by the front door." A few moments later, the twins came running downstairs, both laughing. They looked exactly alike. Same bright green eyes. Same adorable smile. Same tiny dimple on their left cheek. People often stopped Sarah in public. "Your daughters are beautiful. They look just like their father." Every single time, Sarah forced a smile. Because the truth was complicated. Very complicated. The girls had never met their father. In fact, Sarah had never even shown them a picture. Whenever they asked, she always changed the subject. "Mom, do we have a dad?" Lily once asked. Sarah froze. "Of course you do, sweetheart." "Then where is he?" Emma asked. Sarah looked away. Sometimes adults have difficult lives. But one day, I'll explain everything. The girls accepted the answer. Children usually do. But Sarah knew the questions would eventually return. And when they did, she wasn't sure she would be ready. For years, she had lived in a quiet neighborhood outside Chicago. She worked as a nurse at a local hospital. Her life revolved around work and her daughters. Nothing more. Nothing less. Until one ordinary Saturday changed everything. It was the first weekend of summer vacation. The girls had begged Sarah to take them shopping at the city's largest mall. "Please, Mom. They have a new toy store. And ice cream," Emma added excitedly. Sarah finally agreed. "Okay. But only if you both behave." "We promise," they shouted together. The mall was crowded. Families walked from store to store. Children laughed. Music played softly in the background. Everything seemed normal. Perfectly normal. Sarah held several shopping bags while the twins excitedly walked beside her. Then suddenly, both girls stopped. Completely stopped. "Mom," Emma whispered. Sarah kept walking. "Mom," Lily repeated. This time, their voices sounded different. Concerned. Confused. Sarah turned around. "What is it?" The twins were staring across the crowded mall. Their eyes were wide. Emma slowly pointed. "Mom." Sarah followed her daughter's finger. And instantly, every color disappeared from her face. Standing near a coffee shop was a tall man wearing a dark jacket. He appeared to be talking on his phone. But that wasn't what shocked Sarah. It was his face. The man looked exactly like her daughters. Same eyes. Same smile. Same dimples. Even the shape of his jaw was identical. Sarah felt her heart stop. "No," she whispered. The girls looked up at her. "Mom, why does that man look exactly like us?" Sarah couldn't speak. Because she knew exactly who he was. And seeing him there was impossible. Absolutely impossible. 7 years earlier, Sarah had made certain she would never see him again. Yet somehow, there he was. Alive. Standing less than 50 feet away. And completely unaware that two little girls were staring directly at him. Sarah quickly grabbed both children by the hand. "We're leaving." "What?" "But Mom." "Now." Her voice sounded sharp. The girls exchanged worried looks. As Sarah hurried toward the exit, she couldn't stop shaking. She needed to get out. Immediately. But fate had other plans. Just as they reached the main entrance, Sarah accidentally dropped one of her shopping bags. Toys scattered across the floor. Before she could react, someone bent down to help. "Here, let me get those for you." Sarah slowly looked up. And froze. It was him. The mysterious man. He smiled politely. For a brief second, his eyes met hers. Then his expression changed. Completely. Shock. Confusion. Disbelief. He stared at the twins. The twins stared back. Nobody spoke. The silence felt endless. Finally, the man whispered only 3 words. "How is this possible?" To be continued. The man continued staring at Sarah and the twins. "How is this possible?" he repeated, his voice barely above a whisper. Sarah immediately gathered the scattered toys and stood up. "We need to go," she said nervously. But before she could leave, Emma stepped forward. "Mister, why do you look exactly like us?" Sarah's heart pounded. Emma, that's enough. The man looked at the little girl, unable to take his eyes off her. Then he looked at Lily. And suddenly, tears began forming in his eyes. My name is Daniel, he said softly. Sarah closed her eyes. She had prayed for years that this moment would never happen. Yet here it was. Standing right in front of her. Sarah. Daniel whispered. The twins looked surprised. You know our mommy? Lily asked. Sarah took a deep breath. Girls, go sit over there for a minute. The twins reluctantly obeyed, though they remained close enough to watch. Daniel looked completely stunned. I searched for you, he said. For years. Sarah shook her head. No. You disappeared. Daniel's expression changed. Disappeared? Sarah, I was in a coma. Sarah froze. What? After the accident, I spent almost a year in the hospital. Sarah could hardly breathe. 7 years ago, Daniel had been involved in a terrible car accident just weeks before their wedding. The doctors told Sarah that his chances of survival were almost zero. Daniel's family blamed Sarah for distracting him on the night of the accident. Heartbroken and pregnant, Sarah left town. A few months later, she heard that Daniel had died. At least, that's what she had been told. You were alive? Sarah asked quietly. Daniel nodded. When I finally woke up, you were gone. I tried to find you, but no one knew where you had gone. Sarah sat down slowly. Everything she believed for the last 7 years suddenly collapsed. Daniel looked toward the twins. Are they? Sarah looked down. Yes. Daniel covered his face with his hands. For several seconds, he simply cried. My daughters, he whispered. Across the mall, Emma and Lily watched nervously. Finally, Sarah called them over. The twins approached carefully. Daniel knelt in front of them. Hi, he said softly. Hi, Emma replied. Are you our dad? Lily asked directly. Sarah felt tears in her eyes. Daniel looked at Sarah before answering. Sarah slowly nodded. Yes. The twins looked at each other. Then, without hesitation, they hugged him. Daniel completely broke down. For 7 years, he had missed birthdays. Christmas mornings. First steps. First words. First days of school. Moments he could never get back. But now, somehow, he had been given another chance. The 4 of them spent the next 2 hours sitting in a quiet cafe inside the mall. Daniel told them stories. The girls laughed. Sarah listened silently. Everything felt unreal. As evening approached, Daniel asked carefully. Can I see them again? Sarah remained quiet for several moments. Finally, she said. Slowly. Daniel smiled through tears. Slowly is enough. Over the following weeks, Daniel became a regular part of the girls' lives. He attended soccer games. Helped with homework. Read bedtime stories. The twins adored him. For the first time in years, Sarah saw her daughters experience something she could never give them alone. A father. But rebuilding a family wasn't easy. Years of pain couldn't disappear overnight. There were difficult conversations. Misunderstandings. Old wounds. And one evening, Sarah finally asked the question that had haunted her. Why didn't your family tell me you survived? Daniel looked away. My mother thought you had abandoned me. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. I never abandoned you. I know, Daniel said softly. We were both victims of someone else's choices. Months passed. Gradually, healing began. One sunny afternoon, the family visited a park together. As Sarah watched Daniel push the twins on the swings, Emma suddenly shouted, "Mom! Dad is pushing us higher! Dad!" The word made everyone stop. Daniel looked emotional. Sarah smiled. Because after years of heartbreak, loss, and unanswered questions, their family had finally found its way back together. Sometimes life separates people. Sometimes fate brings them back. And sometimes, the people we thought we had lost forever are only waiting for the right moment to come home. The end. If you enjoyed this emotional story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more amazing stories.